The other thing, you mentioned product mindset, and I have a question for you. So you've been at Amazon, and now if you were to look at Google, like 10 years ago, so I'm talking 10 years ago, both Google and Amazon. Google, a product manager in Google was notoriously hard to beat. You had to pass software problems. You had to like be an engineer. They didn't want an MBA. If you're an MBA, you went over to the sales org, to the marketing org. And so Google product manager was actually someone that was an engineer. On Amazon side, they actually hired MBAs and made them product managers. Yes, there was product managers because they were, they were retail oriented, but there was a different paradigm. Their product managers were MBAs and business people. So I'd love your thoughts on that. Like, is there a better approach? Are both right? What's your
Well, yeah, and it's funny because I don't think I have deep insights on this, but my view is actually the best value of the product owner is someone who can really sympathize with the user or the customer, and because, and the reason I'm saying this is because I think the problem with the MBA being the product owners, if you kind of already create this space where you have to be someone quite special, and therefore, the product culture in the company is confined into, very few people. What I'm trying to say is, no, actually, the product culture is like everyone. So that's what we were talking about engineering leadership. Like, yeah, engineering leadership is about being a product person, and you think product. Like, I'm doing this, but does anyone expect me to do this? Like, will adoption be natural, organic, or we've been so many times in this space where you have these DevOps teams, they are building this fantastic tool, but no one expects it, and they come and oh, you should use this, and I thought the management would force you to use my stuff. I'm like, no, man. It's a product culture. Like, you need to win your way into this. Like, if I have my needs fulfilled already, I'm not gonna spend 2 weeks shifting to your great tool. Like, I'm happy. And so there is this, it's and at MNS, what's interesting right now is I'm trying to explain that, because it's almost the opposite. Like, they have a lot of product owners that are operating directly on customer facing properties, right? And that works well, I'm fine. But when I'm creating this platform, this product factory now, which is, almost a separate dimension to an extent, they also would like to have the same type of product managers. And I'm like, I agree, because, I've been advocating product culture through and through, but they can't sympathize with the customer here. Like, here, the customer is a dev guy, right? You need to be able to sympathize with you're building a dev experience, right? So you need to have this ability to get it, right? To engage, to go under the skin of their problem, etc. You need quite the background here now in technical abilities and experience. So that's what I would say. And so maybe for Google, I think what Google was trying to do, when I'm listening to you, they were trying to do exactly what I was wrestling at the beginning of this conversation, which is, let's not have a line between non-technologists and technologists. Like, everyone is a tech. And I have to say, again, it's very tempting, because this divorce and reconciliation, it's really hard. I think, though, nothing is perfect in life. So when you have this product that's actually very technical, yes, you don't need to restitch together the vision and the team. But on the other side, you could almost say, the way I work, and Sky was the same at MNS, is it's also useful to have non-technologists that are, how can I say, it's a bit like left and right brain. Like, you can use these two poles and try to actually get the best ideas to survive, because if the non-technologists just don't get it, surely there is this risk, right? I'm sure Google has had as well. Like, Google, for me, is perfect because I'm quite nerdy, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't resonate with their product because it's actually fairly nerdy products. Like, it's fairly raw, it's fairly intelligent, but people sometimes they need more flesh. They need, I don't know.
You remind me of a story when I was at MuleSoft. I think this was 2015 or 14. There was a company get together every year. The whole company would get together physically, and this was in San Diego. So the whole company, at maybe 1,500 people, are sitting in this big ballroom, and right now the current head of global sales from MuleSoft, Terry Tripp, At the time, he was a regional VP of sales for one of the regions in the US. He stood up in front of the whole company, and Greg, the CEO, was on stage, and he said, "Okay, Greg, tell me three things you would change in the company right now. Like, what should we do?" And so Greg was taken aback. You know, it was a very big question, putting him on the spotlight. And one of the things he said made everyone gasp. Okay, so the backdrop is there's a product management function, there was an engineering function, there's sales and marketing. And Greg said this in front of the whole company. He goes, "Hey, engineers, stop waiting for product managers to tell you what to do. Just go and build shit." That's what he said. And I think the spirit of what he was saying was what you're saying, like he was trying to merge things, and it made me it made me realize back then even, like, you know, what he was going after was that unity. It's a bit of a nirvana.